Hello and welcome to NSUSpartans.com. Ross Gordon now joined by Mike Bello, the Assistant Sports Information Director here at Norfolk State University. And again, it's another week of Norfolk State University women's basketball, and the Spartans looking to get back on the right track. In a few moments, we'll bring in head coach Debra Clark to talk a little bit about how the season is going and what's going to happen this weekend as the Spartans travel up 13 to take on the University of Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks, as well as to Washington, D.C. to take on the Howard University Bison. Welcome, Mike. And Mike, it's been a season of highs and lows for the Spartans, but this is a great opportunity for the Spartans to get back on the winning track.
Absolutely. It's good too that they've had more than a week since their last game, or they will have once the UMES game starts. They've had more than a week, so they can put all that behind them. You can say that was non-conference season. Doesn't mean anything anymore. All that matters is the conference play. You can jump into it. UMES isn't one of the strongest teams in the league, so it's not like you're jumping in with one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league, so this is an opportunity for them to get back on the right track.
Speaking of on the right track, hopefully the Spartans will be back healthy. The Spartans have been playing without Rachel Gordon for most of the season, actually with last 2 games, struggling with an ankle injury. Hopefully she'll be back, and that'll be a huge key as the Spartans have struggled to score as the season is going along.
Yeah, after losing Marion Brooks, losing Ray Corbo, you're losing a lot of production. Losing Rachel Gordon, that's even more production. At some point you're running out of bodies per se, so that'll help that she can come back. Maybe hopefully she's a little bit rested. She hasn't played. We don't know how much she's practiced, but maybe she'll come back rested and really stronger than she was earlier this year. It's
a huge weekend for the Spartans as we welcome in the head coach of Norfolk State University, head coach Debra Clark. 2-11 on the season now, Coach Clark, as we welcome you in to NSUSpartans.com. I know you just want to see your team just get healthy.
Well, that's part of it. I thought things were going well for us. Then Rachel Gordon went down, and she missed about 4 games during the holidays, big games against some big opponents. And the Hofstra game, I felt she was about 90%, but I said I'd rather her, rest and get strong for the league game on Saturday. So she's looking really, really good in practice. I think she's almost back to where she needs to be. So with her being back healthy and the others stepping up a little bit better, I think we'll have a good chance against Maryland Eastern Shore. They're a very young team, and they're struggling right now to find their identity as well. So it's a great opportunity for us to put some things together. The games in the past are just that. They were non-league games, and I'm sure we learned some things from those games, but now it's time to play the games that really matter, and we're really excited about that.
Coach, when you've had, the Hofstra game was last Thursday, I believe, so when you've had more in a week, or you will have had more in a week in between games, what do you guys do during that week of practice, even if stuff off and on the court, to really get their mindset of, okay, let's just put this behind us?
Well, that's, the thing right now is just to try to strive for improvement. We can't belabor the loss, but we can learn from it. And I say, the turnovers are a huge factor. Rebounds have been a huge factor in a couple of the games that we weren't successful. So we've been making a concerted effort to try to improve in those areas, because people are really capitalizing on our mistakes. And so we must limit the number of mistakes that we make.
We look at UMES a little bit deeper, and their team, very young as you said, but they like to do some very interesting things on the floor, like to press a little bit because of their inability to score in the half court. They struggle a little bit in the half court. They like to press, try to turn you over, but they're a team that turns the ball over as well, turns the ball over a lot. What do you see from this UMES team that we're going to have to face and have to take care of against them on Saturday?
Well, it's interesting. Watching them on film, they're very similar to us. They play multiple defenses because I think he's, like I said, still reaching and trying to find an identity of what his team is going to be. But I think first and foremost, they are naturally a good rebounding team. They instinctively go to the boards. They've got a nice 6'4" young lady who causes a lot of havoc down low for us. So we're going to have to keep her up the boards. And on the offensive end, we have to read the defense and take the appropriate shots against her. I think in transition, they are pressing you, as you say, because they're trying to force you to make a mistake. They don't care if you shoot it early or shoot it late. They just want you to make a mistake and give them opportunity to score. So that's another thing that we have to do a better job, because people have been capitalizing on our mistakes. And I believe if we minimize our turnovers and we're even with our opponents on the boards, we've got a good chance.
Coach, you've talked before about, got to play the full 40 minutes. There's times where this year where you're in the game and all of a sudden, you go cold from the floor for 4 or 5 minute stretch, and all of a sudden now you're behind by 12, 15. It's hard to catch back up. And obviously last year UMES was the good example of it. You're up ahead big in the first half, and all of a sudden the second half they just start chipping away, and we couldn't started missing a lot of our shots.
Right.
What's it going to take to not just UMES, but the rest of the season? What does it take to kind of overcome those cold streaks?
Well, it's going to be ignited by defense because you come out sometimes you're not going to shoot the ball well. You're going to miss shots. But I tell them all the time, you can play defense every night. And the fact that we are down personnel, down some points, we have to find other ways to score. And one way is to get it back on defense. And you can't have a bad scoring night and then come down and not guard and be successful. Mm-hmm. So defense is another key. It's going to be important, not just for the weekend, but for the rest of the season for us to be successful.
UMES on Saturday, Coach, and then on television on Monday, we take on a very tough Howard team, which I think right now is starting to find its stride, which is a different monster in itself. They're playing without one of their best players, Tamoria Holmes, who's done for the season with a knee injury, but their best player is there, and that's Sadia Doyle. They're playing games in the 50s. They don't like to get into the 60s. They're a team that winning game 52 to 46. They're a team that doesn't like to get up and down the floor. It's a half-court team, and you look at the majority of their points are coming from Sadia Doyle. It's going to be a very tough task on Monday night to take them on in Byrd Gymnasium.
Well, they're very, very different in Middle East, ensuring that they start 4 seniors and a junior. They're a veteran team, and they're playing extremely well as a team. I think they really have blossomed into the team that Coach Geckler has envisioned. But Sadia Doyle is going to be a factor because she does so much for them. She scores, she rebounds, she defends, and her supporting cast is pretty strong too. So it's not a game where you can focus on 1 or 2 people. All 5 of their starters, they're all averaging 30-plus minutes. They're playing majority of the time, and they all are productive in their own way. So it's going to go back to us being the best Norfolk State team that we can put on the floor on Monday.
And Coach, this is the first time that the women will be on TV. Well, it'll be the first 2 this season, obviously at Howard and at Hampton. Talk about when you're on TV like that. What benefits it is for your program to get the exposure of people being able to see you?
Well, I think it's a great recruiting tool. I mean, you can call your recruits and say, watch us on TV. That's a big factor to a lot of the young people that we're recruiting that a lot of times I'm not able to say. So that's part of the recruiting factor. And I think our girls would be excited about having the opportunity to see their friends and family and everybody watch us on TV. So it's a lot going on Monday, so we're real excited about it.
I think one of the things that you have to do on Monday, and Coach, I know a lot of people say this is easier said than done, is you might have to get them in foul trouble in order to get them in a situation where you can have a little bit of an advantage.
And that's true, but the thing about them, they are a very good defensive team. I mean, they run that matchup zone just about as well as I've seen anybody do it, and they're long, they're athletic, they're aggressive, and they do defend well without foul. So we're going to have to be extra aggressive to put some pressure on them on defense.
As Coach Clark, finally, as we get to talk about what's going on this weekend, again, UMES on Saturday, Howard on Monday night. Again, that game will be on television. What's going to be the key thing for your team in these 2 games to come off with 2 victories?
Well, I think it's real simple to say. We have to defend, and then we have to score because we haven't been putting the ball in the basket that well, and because we limit our number of opportunities because of our turnovers. So take care of the ball, put the ball in the basket and defend, and we'll be fine.
It's a new season now, Coach, as we go into conference season. The Spartans are 0-2 in conference right now, 2-11 overall, but looking to shore things up as we get set with UMES on Saturday afternoon and Howard on Monday afternoon, a very special start time, 4:30 p.m. because the game will be broadcasted on ESPNU. For Coach Clark and Mike Bello, I'm Ross Gordon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on NSU Spartans.com.